Welcome to our premiere episode of On Brand Off Script Podcast, a bite sized monthly podcast filled with actionable insights about branding, content, and email. In this episode, we will talk about a topic we live and breathe here in ShineThru: brand authenticity. Not the buzzword, but the real meaning of this. I'm Cath Quiambao, and with me is our founder, Paige Weber. Hey, Paige. How are you?
Hi. So excited for this premiere first episode. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, hopefully really quick, bite-sized and educational, but still fun podcast snippets.
And we have lots to talk about. Before that, I think Earth Day is coming up this April, the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. You and
Yes.
I both love
Mother
to
Nature.
travel.
Yep.
Yes. So before we talk about branding, I want to ask, what's your top 3 favorite places in the world?
Oh, top 3?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're going to go
man.
in top 3 because it's so hard to choose one.
It really is. You go first, or should I go first?
Okay, I'm ready with my
You're
answers.
ready. Okay, yeah, give
Yeah,
me.
because of course I was thinking I cannot pick just one. I
Yeah.
would say here in the Philippines, I love the beach, and we have like 1,000 different kinds of beaches. So my favorite here is Boracay, but outside the country, I think Bali, just because they have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You have the ocean and you have the mountain rice field scenes. Next, I love the charming streets of San Francisco. I know it's like crazy chaotic there, but those little houses, I
No,
think
there's a reason it's a top destination. It's beautiful. And sometimes we like
that's
a little
the
chaos.
just don't go to downtown.
Yeah,
And
just stay
feel
in the
safe.
cute little streets.
And the last one will probably have to be France, not the touristy spots, but really every street corner, every boulangerie. It's an architectural masterpiece. Just the facade and the look, like everywhere you look, it's really beautiful. So
I love
what
that. You
about
actually
you,
named
Paige?
3 places I've never been.
Oh,
I'm adding them all to my list. That it sounds beautiful. No, I love that. And I had some time to think, but then I realized this is actually pretty easy. I have very strong favorites. First and
mhm.
foremost, I just love Italy. I love the countryside of Italy. I love the canals and the coastline and Cinque Terre. I love Capri. I think it's just, I mean, you're basically living in a postcard anytime you're spending time in Italy.
Mhm.
And I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I love the culture there too. But for the Earth Day component, just the actual land there is so beautiful.
Mhm.
And then I also recently got to experience Costa Rica, which
Mhm.
is a bit
Yeah.
more tropical, but so beautiful, more untouched. There's a lot more of it that is just really gorgeous coastline, and just and obviously tons of jungle, tons of animals. So that was really fun. I would go back there in a heartbeat. And I think for the third, I'm just a sucker for ocean. I also love
You and
Hawaii.
me both.
Yeah.
Hawaii.
I mean, come on, Hawaii is amazing. I always say I would love to live there, but it's just a little too far away from, friends, family, the
Uh-huh.
overall US, but I
Yep.
love it there.
And you also named 3 places that I haven't been. So
There we
that's in
go.
addition to each other's bucket list. Great. So I think the best way to get started to talk about brand authenticity is this stat that we've been seeing all over, saying 86% of consumers prioritize authenticity when choosing brands to support. What does this really mean? So I wonder what for you is the definition of brand authenticity?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a buzzword right now. It's something that I think everyone is talking about and bringing up, but we never really go deeper than just saying, not we, but a lot of the population doesn't go deeper than saying, what does it mean to be authentic? And I know for us at ShineThru, that's such a core value of ours and something that we truly, truly try to focus on and bring to the surface. And so to me, being authentic is first fully knowing and understanding what your values and your mission are and just what your core messaging and purpose is. And
Mhm.
that is so important because when you know your why and you know your messaging, you can really consistently express that and build and form. And this goes for individuals as humans and also businesses and brands. But when you're really clear and understand what your core message is, your purpose is, your why, then you can really align a consistent identity that you are able to clearly and consistently express to your audience or to really anyone you're communicating with. And I think
Mhm.
you've hit the nail on the head when you ask an audience member or you ask a client or a friend for them to describe who you are, what your brand is
Mhm.
like. And when they're able to clearly express exactly what your, personality factors are or your vision, mission, purpose, when they can explain that without needing to be told, that means that you're showing up in an authentic way and you're showing up in a consistent way that, throughout across all platforms, and that you're really hitting the nail on the head with really being authentic. And I think all of that said, that's not easy at all. The hardest and
Mhm.
first step is even clarifying what is that and what is your identity and what is your unique identity. But once you are able to clarify that and practice it and get it out there, then, you can really make a huge impact, create a huge following, create a gigantic customer base or just a small customer base, but a loyal one. And yeah, so I feel like that is the ultimate goal in authenticity, but it can look really different and be applied across so many different, case studies since it really should seep into all different layers and levels and types of marketing and branding.
Right, right. I agree. I was just thinking while I was listening to you, I think authenticity is what the brand stands for. If they don't have something that they believe in that differentiates them, then they're just a commodity product. I don't think if you're just like a supermarket product who doesn't, invest in your brand, then that's fine. But if you want to grow and really reach more people, then you have to have that unique solutions because customers now are they're smarter because what they do, at least my experience is when I want to purchase a product, I would go to the review section right away and see what actual people, and I can also discern if this is like, oh, this is a spam
Yep.
or a fake
Or yeah,
review.
fake or just quickly churned out
Yep.
product.
And so
Yep.
it goes backwards. So you start from what other people are talking about, what they experience about your brand. And then you can relate and then you can earn the trust by looking
Yep.
at those how
Yep.
other people are describing your brand, like what you were saying. So that is, I think, why brand authenticity is something that will never go away. Sure, it
Yeah.
sounds like
It's going to get more and
cliche.
more important if you ask me. I think it's getting easier and easier to just duplicate and
Mhm.
throw a product out there, drop ship, all of that, or try to become an influencer. Like that's all great. But to your point, we're getting smarter and smarter. Consumers are smarter and smarter. They're looking for individuals and for identities that they align with and
Mhm.
purposes behind them and stories that they can follow and reviews that are true people, not bots
Mhm.
and can sniff out, something that's fake or inauthentic quickly. And there's so many options out there that you need to be able to stand out and stand apart and be your own separate entity for people to be able to, want to sign up with you.
Right. And I like that you mentioned influencers. I wanted to personally ask what you think about influencers now during this time, because, of course, during maybe 3, 4 years ago, many people trust influencers. I want to understand if you still feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I think 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was way more difficult to become an influencer and to get into that space, and so the people who were there put the time and effort in, did all of the work that we're talking about to know what their message is, know what their, core niche is gonna be, who they're speaking to, what value they're really bringing, and what story they're sharing. Where now I think, I don't know if this stat is true or not, but I think I saw it on a TikTok or something, but I think like 40% of college students entering the workforce, their true desire is to be an influencer. So I think that
No
right now
way.
there's just so much visibility into it. It's such an
Mhm.
easier, low barrier to entry. You just need an iPhone and, a platform and you can get going. But the
Mhm.
influence, and I think, I feel like influencers are amazing because the ones that are doing it well are truly like the definition of authentic. They're showing you into their day, they're being real, they're telling you their story, they're aligning with a particular subset of people that feel strongly about whatever their passion or purpose is. But then I think there's also a lot of influencers that are in it for the wrong reason, that are more so, trying to make money, trying to be famous, trying to, blow up in an instant. And then we just see them fizzle out very quickly because they're not really in it for the right reasons. And the authentic piece is missing, and they're not connecting or caring so much about their communities. They're caring about more surface level, metrics. And to your point, we're all getting better and better and better at sniffing that out and being like, unfollow, or this person isn't helping me anymore, not going to subscribe to them. So I think it's a difficult balance. My hope is that influencers continue to work on just the quality of value they offer, and that those are the ones that are rewarded.
Right. And because we're talking about like how sometimes influencers can seem fake, I wanted to describe a clear cut example, a tangible example of a brand that's truly authentic. And when you talk about that, the case study or the gold standard is Patagonia, which is a masterclass in authenticity.
And tied into Earth Day. Look at that.
Right, right. We didn't plan that,
Didn't
but
plan that.
Paige, for the interest of people who are not familiar with Patagonia, can
Mhm.
you tell them what this brand is about? And while you're doing that, I'll try to share my screen so we
Okay,
have some
perfect.
visuals.
Yeah, I think we were trying to think of a really good, solid example of a brand, specifically a brand that has really shown up authentically throughout the years. And so we thought of Patagonia. It is a very large, I think it might be a B Corp or nonprofit, or it might be, for profit, but their whole mission is focused on, like, they're a clothing brand, an outdoor clothing brand, but everything they do is tied to their mission, their deeper purpose, which is to help to save the earth, help to, encourage recycling and encourage people to get outdoors and put our planet first. And so this is an example of their homepage. I think actually, could you show the campaign? Because if we
Okay.
keep in mind that Patagonia, their brand is selling clothing, I thought this campaign, I think it was back in 2011, was just so cool.
Pretty
And
clever,
yeah,
huh?
like Cath said, such a gold standard of, to me, authenticity, because they're a clothing company. They have a bottom line to hit. Yet,
Mm.
right before Black Friday, or on Black Friday, they launched this campaign that said, "Don't buy this jacket." That is an example of a Patagonia jacket.
Ah,
And the campaign dives into, don't buy the jacket, recycle it, or, clean it up, bring it in, we'll revamp it.
mhm.
And they were just really trying to push their secondary, focus, which is helping to recycle, reuse, not add into piles of, junk and waste, but said really value quality clothing and either
Right.
reuse it, or once it's hit that shelf life, send it back to Patagonia and they'll fix it up. And then you can buy a secondhand off of a secondhand side of their shop. So it was just a big opposite message than every other Black Friday ad, which was buy this, sale, get all these clothes, So I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah, and it also speaks about like sure it talks about sustainability, but it also speaks about the quality. They are 100% confident that their products are of good quality, that it will last a lifetime. I don't know if that's a stretch, but for them to be able to say purchase this and just recycle, it means that they're really sure that they are only offering high quality materials. They also donate, I think, a portion of their sales to 1% for the planet. So another example just on top of my mind is Coldplay. So they are the only, at least that I know of, the only artist or the only band that really cares. So when you go to attend their concerts, they offer water refilling stations so you don't have to buy bottled waters. They have like stumping stations that generates electricity to help with all the electricity that they're using up um for the production and so many things. They recycle all the backdrop that they're using, and then they're recycling it and producing like different merchandising.
I think them doing that and providing an example to all the people that are attending their performances is just
Mhm.
really great. Leading by example, walking the walk. That's to me, that's another step in peace and authenticity is, are you really going to do what you say you care about?
Yep. And just going back to Patagonia, I think what makes them a great case study is because they're consistent. It's not just one campaign. They're communicating that that's their mission, and they're all tied up to the campaigns and their actual products and how they communicate to their customers. They're very transparent, they're purpose driven, and they're aligned with what matters to their customers.
They're such a great example. And to make it a little bit more approachable and bite sized for listeners of this, obviously we're not all running a probably $1 billion clothing operation, but just thinking through how you're showing up, what you're consistently putting out there, and that messaging piece, and continuing to think through, how is the audience going to receive this, is just a great, example. You go to their website, you can tell what they care about. You can tell that others also care, to support their brand. They have a section on their site that's literally just about their clientele and really cool stories and experiences. And I feel like getting community involved, being able to, shout out to those that care about your brand, all of that is a winning recipe for staying authentic, building a really good community. And it just makes whatever your service or your product or your business is way more fulfilling and fun, because you're not trying to follow a recipe card and replicate something and then send it out there and hope that people purchase. You really feel aligned and connected with what you're sharing and doing. And I just am such a believer you're going to see such faster success and results approaching it that way. And just like we see with so many of the brands that we've helped to build, you also create longevity, on your platform and with your digital identities. So even though it's a bit more work on the front end and you have to dig deep and really make sure that you're then continuing to stay consistent with what you're saying, it pays off, and it pays off for the long term and really builds, a well-rooted and well-built company.
Right. And I think the best way to wrap this episode up is also to talk about why we value this in Shine Through. We always say authenticity is at the heart of everything that we do. And as the founder of Shine Through, do you want to say why this is one of our core values and why this topic is very close to our hearts?
Well, I mean, I think that we don't know any other way to be. And we also really want to make sure we're aligning with who we choose to end up working with. And so if we lead with, we want to be authentic, we want to be bold, we want to pull out your purpose and your stories and build a really unique, very aligned brand and brand image for you. We want the people that hear that and the clients that hear that and say, that's awesome. And that's exactly what we need. And we want to stand out from the crowd, but in a way that's real to us. And we're not afraid to get a little messy or vulnerable and be authentic to us. That is the most fun and most rewarding type of brand that we can build. And it also is a very winning recipe for being successful. If we lead with authenticity, we see so much more, success and results and all those other things that we care about in marketing. But it comes back to that core piece. And again, it is a little bit more work for us. It's a little bit, tiny bit more high end because we really need to, get our hands dirty and learn as much as we can to build these beautiful and, eye catching, but also audience catching brands.
Mhm.
And and yeah, I think that it's just where that's where our niche is and where, we truly believe people will see success from.
I love that. And we want this episode to be actionable. So before we end the episode, we would like to give you a bit of homework to all of our listeners. We want a tangible action for you to take. And I think, Paige, our homework is for them to look at a brand collateral and really reflect if it shows or it communicates who you are as a brand. Does it really solve the problem that you said you're trying to solve? Are you really helping out the customer that you're trying to serve? Or are you just like, it sounds so salesy. It's just like me. It's like all about your company. Like really look at it at with a constructive lens, but also be critical to what you are actually reading and to take action once you've really reviewed and analyzed that piece of collateral.
Yeah, I think what I like to do, here quarterly probably, that we're challenging you all to try and go and do right after this, is choose a piece of collateral that is really important to you right now. It might be your homepage, it might be a sales page, it might be a LinkedIn ad that you're pushing. Choose one piece of collateral. Take a look at it and then allow yourself 5 minutes to sit in the shoes of your ideal customer and think
Mhm.
about, what are they really seeking? What do they need, to feel connected with you? What message are you going to share that's going to want them, or going to make them want to buy? And then go and reread that piece of collateral and decide if your messaging, your imagery, your style is doing that for you. And if you think it's up to that level, if it's not, go ahead and try to rework it or edit it, or shoot us a message. We're happy to help with this type of strategy, but it's a quick, actionable, and highly valuable review that we want to challenge you all to do. And then comment if you do change something. We want to hear what you found and how you reworked things to make it that much more authentic, that much more impactful.
Right. So you can visit our website, ShineThru.co, or you can also connect with us, Paige and I, on LinkedIn, and you can send us the comment there. We would love to hear from you. And I think, Paige, this has been a great first episode.
We will be doing more of these.
We will be back for more. So please don't forget to subscribe for more insights and strategies to help your brand stand out.
To everyone that watches this, thank you. And we will be back with more soon.
All right. If you find value in this episode, we appreciate it if you can subscribe and leave a review. And we'll all see you next time.